Hello, welcome to Critz Farm. I'm your co-host Kiara.
And I'm your other co-host, Carman.
Today we're going to be touring around Critz Farm with you and showing you all the facilities it has to offer and why it is a leading farm in Central New York for its green initiatives.
Thanks for joining us. See you around.
Before we dive into everything Critz Farm has to offer, it's important to talk about the person behind it all, Mathew Critz.
Mathew isn't your typical farmer. Before purchasing this property, he spent 2 decades working in forest engineering. That experience gave him a deep understanding of land use, construction, and natural resource management skills that became essential when he and his wife, Juanita, bought the farm in 1985.
At the time, the farm was a former dairy operation, but with the background in sustainability and a degree from SUNY ESF, Mathew saw potential. He transformed it into a Christmas tree farm, and from there, things just kept growing.
Today, Critz Farm is a multi-crop, multi-seasonal operation producing apples, pumpkins, hops, barley, blueberries, and of course, maple syrup and hard cider. But none of this happened overnight.
Mathew's engineering expertise helped him design and build many of the facilities on site, from the syrup room to the tap room. He's not only a farmer, but he's also a builder and a mentor and a problem solver. And maybe most importantly, he's someone who sees a long-term picture, investing in solar, protecting farmland, and preparing the next generation to take over.
His son is already deeply involved in daily operations, and it's clear that the Critz family isn't just growing crops, they're growing legacy.
Hey guys, so this is the barnyard, and this is the playground of Critz Farm.
This space creates early connections between youth and nature, fostering a deeper appreciation for farming and the outdoors. It's a social hub that helps bridge the gap between rural livelihoods and future generations.
Nearby, you'll also find farm animals, another simple but powerful way for children to understand where the food comes from and the care it requires. Experiences like these plant the seeds of environmental awareness and empathy that can last a lifetime.
And it's not just for kids. For many adults, especially those from urban areas, Critz Farm offers a rare chance to slow down, step outside, and reconnect with land. Whether it's walking through the orchards, learning about maple syrup production, cutting down your own Christmas tree, or exploring the trails, this space invites everyone to engage with nature in a hands-on, meaningful way. Critz Farms doesn't just grow crops, it grows community. With year-round events like the Maple Festival and Fall Festival, the farm educates visitors about sustainable practices and traditional food production.
But these events aren't just about fun. They're about hands-on education, giving people direct exposure to processes like cider making and maple syrup production. That kind of public access to local food systems is rare and really valuable.
Plus, by hosting concerts, seasonal events, and offering jobs to local high school students, Critz becomes a central economic and cultural engine in Cazenovia.
Okay, right inside here on this side of the building is the cider mill where Critz Farm produces their own hard cider. Right inside here is their gift shop where they sell a whole bunch of maple flavored products and products with their logos on it. And on the other side of the building is their maple production area where they produce their own maple syrup from their trees on their property.
These aren't just for show. They allow the farm to control quality, reduce waste, and teach visitors about the science and craftsmanship behind local food systems.
The maple syrup process begins in early spring when sap flows from tapped maple trees during the freeze-thaw cycle. The sap is then concentrated through reverse osmosis and carefully boiled to transform it into rich golden syrup. It is a precise and time-sensitive process, and Critz Farms repurposes the water byproduct to wash the equipment. This shows how sustainability isn't just a buzzword here, but it's baked into their process.
In the fall, the focus shifts to apples. The cider making process starts with washing and grinding the fruit into pulp, which is then pressed to extract the juice. Some is kept fresh for sweet cider, while the rest is fermented into hard cider. It's a blend of traditional methods and modern efficiency, and it gives visitors a taste of the region's agricultural roots.
And what's especially exciting is that these production areas double as teaching spaces. Visitors can see each step up close, ask questions, and leave with a better understanding of how their favorite seasonal products are made right here on a sustainable working farm. Now let's talk about the farm itself. Originally a dairy operation, Critz Farm has evolved to include apples, pumpkins, blueberries, barley, hops, and of course, Christmas trees.
But behind those harvests are workers who make it all possible. In recent years, there's been a sharp decline in the availability of local agricultural labor. Fewer young people are entering the farming workforce, and it's becoming harder to find reliable help for physically demanding seasonal work.
To keep the farm running, Mathew Critz participates in the H-2A program, a federal initiative that allows U.S. farmers to hire foreign agricultural workers when domestic labor isn't available. Every year, Critz Farm brings in 6 skilled workers from Jamaica. For them, it's a chance to earn higher wages than they would back home. And for Mathew, their experience and work ethic have become the backbone of the farm's success.
These workers aren't just seasonal help. They're part of the farm's extended family. Mathew has developed deep friendships with many of them over the years, and their return each season ensures continuity in everything from planting to harvest.
But sustaining the land itself is just as important as sustaining the workforce. That's why Mathew and his family made the decision to sell the development rights of their property through the New York State's Farmland Protection Program. This means the land is permanently preserved for agriculture and cannot be sold or used for commercial or residential development.
At a time when farmland is disappearing at an alarming rate, this move is a bold commitment to the future of local food systems. It helps protect open space, preserve rural character, and ensure that farming remains viable in the region for generations to come.
Together, the H2A program and farmland protection efforts highlight how Critz Farms is addressing both the immediate and long-term challenges facing agriculture, labor, land, and legacy.
All right, so here above the tap room is solar panels that power majority of the farm.
3 buildings at Critz Farms now run primarily on solar power, and here's what the owner Mathew had to say about them.
We did this during the Obama 30% tax credit. We got a NYSERDA grant, and we got the REAP grant. So we only paid about 25%. And the payback was like 5 years.
Wow.
That support made all the difference. Before solar, Critz Farms faced crushing electricity bills, so high, in fact, that the cost of power sometimes exceeded what they made from production. Investing in solar wasn't just an environmental choice, it was a financial necessity.
Solar panels work by converting sunlight into electricity using a process called the photovoltaic effect. Each panel is made up of solar cells that release electrons when exposed to sunlight, generating direct current electricity that can be used immediately or stored for later use.
Thanks to the new system, Critz Farms now offsets a significant portion of their energy use, dramatically cutting utility costs and reducing their carbon footprint. Solar energy powers their syrup production facility, the barn, and other key buildings, with backup fossil fuel power only used when solar can't meet the demand.
Mathew Critz expects to pay off the installation loan within 5 years, and from the point forward, the farm will be saving thousands annually. It's a long-term investment that strengthens their bottom line while helping to build a cleaner, more resilient energy system for rural communities.
What makes Critz Farms so important isn't just what they produce, it's what they protect. They've safeguarded open land, preserved biodiversity, reduced their carbon footprint, and invested in future farmers.
This isn't just a farm, it's a blueprint for how agriculture can sustain both people and the planet. From renewable energy to educational events to employment programs, Critz Farm shows what it looks like when a farm becomes a community asset.
And in a time when rural areas face economic and environmental changes, Critz Farms reminds us of the power of working with the land, not against it.
Thanks for joining us on this deeper look at Critz Farm.
We hope you've seen that farms like this do so much more than grow food. They grow community, sustainability, and resilience.